Hello, I'm Purple Rain, coach of the Damascus Driftblims, and this is a video of my Week 2 match against Sora, coach of the Dover Delmise. So, let's look at this matchup really quick, and then I'll run over my team that I built. So, this matchup, the first thing I notice is this team is pretty bulky, or at least there's some bulky parts of it. And then some not so bulky parts of it. Actually, the very first thing I noticed is this is one of the few teams with a ghost type. And one of the few teams with 2 dark types as well that I need to be cautious of. And that ends up being pretty scary sometimes for my team because, as you know, as I'm sure you remember, I have Gotharita, ghost type good into Gotharita, and dark type good into Gotharita, and good into Sinistea, or is it? Oh, I forgot the teapot's name. Oh no. Anyways, it's good into the teapot. Poltegeist. And so because it's good into those 2 Pokemon, and Poltegeist being one of my main offensive threats, I ended up having to think about my team a little bit more. I can't do what I did last week for sure, which was just let Poltegeist win the game for me. So, I've got a different game plan. I also noticed Shell Smash Torterra and a Fake Out that my opponent has, but it's slower than my fastest Fake Out. So that is something, those are all things I've been thinking about, and when you go down and look at the type chart, first thing I notice, let me see. Yeah. First thing I noticed about the type chart is that all of the fast mons, weak to ground. Slow mons, good against ground. Slow mons, bad against flying. So, unfortunately for my team, my slow mon is a ground type. So I can't threaten in the fast mode with Golem that well, because it's slow. But it is still something I need to consider because all of these fast Pokemon are bad against it. So, then I also have, then there's also a weakness to Fairy, which I can't abuse, and a weakness to Bug, which I cannot abuse. So really, it's like I'm looking at trying to exploit this ground weakness, and I don't have a great way of exploiting this flying weakness, but it's important. And then another thing I'm looking at is 2 quad weaknesses to ice, which means that it can do quite a lot, and then another ice weakness on top of that, and then a water weakness. So my mind goes to an offensive E Dugong, just so I have ways of dealing with Torterra and Dipplin when I otherwise don't feel like I have any good ways of dealing with them. So, let's look at my team now. Give me 1 second. So, this is the team I decided to go with. The team I built for this week. So let's start at the top with Squawkabilly. So I have Choice Scarf Squawkabilly that can Final Gambit, Brave Bird, Parting Shot, and Tailwind. I thought Final Gambit is okay into this team because 82 HP. There's a couple Pokemon with more HP, of course, but threats that I'm really concerned about, like Dipplin, like Lucario, I think it'll beat, and I don't expect most of these to be max HP. Like, maybe Torterra will, maybe Samurott will, Pheasantipity probably will, but like I wouldn't expect Pyroar to be max HP. I wouldn't expect I wouldn't expect Honchkrow to be most of the time. I wouldn't expect Samurott to be every time. You know, so there's some options there. There's some options there for me to work with. Then, and then we also have Brave Bird because it's good into the grass types, which I mentioned. Parting Shot and Tailwind. Parting Shot, of course, good for Paratrap mode or whatever. And then Tailwind is just important I think it could end up being valuable in this matchup to be able to have the option to go fast. It is, I know it doesn't look like fancy EVs, and it's not the fanciest of EVs, it's just max HP, max speed. But this does outspeed Torterra with a +2 boost or just under Tailwind. So if it Shell Smashes or if my opponent gets up Tailwind, the Brave Bird or Final Gambit will still be going before Torterra. Then I've got my Alolan Persian. Alolan Persian has Fake Out, Knock Off, Helping Hand, Parting Shot. Fake Out, obviously self-explanatory. Helping Hand, Parting Shot, I feel like both of those are relatively self-explanatory. A Knock Off is just good because of Alolan Raichu here. And Banette, you know, just a good, decent move. And then otherwise it's Stab. And Knock Off is also good if Dipplin is not Sticky Hold, and if it is Sticky Hold, that means it's not Regenerator, which is also good. So I'm willing to take it. Yeah, I just feel like it's all around good here. Like I said, it's EV'd to outspeed Raichu, and then it's got a Citrus Berry just for some more bulk. Otherwise, it's all in HP and defense because my opponent has more physically offensive threats than special ones that I care about, especially when it comes to Persian. Dugong, I gave it a Rindo Berry and then did very simple EVs with it, just max HP, max special attack. I decided to give it Protect, Ice Beam, Muddy Water, Parashong. Ice Beam is good here into these two threats and Honchkrow, these two being Torterra and Dipplin. Muddy Water is a good spread move, which is always nice to have. It also is one of the best super effective hits into Pyroar I've got, and then, you know, accuracy drops can be a thing. 2. Gothorita, very almost standard set. Protect, Trick Room, Psychic Thunderbolt. Protect and Trick Room obviously makes sense. This team is kind of like it has a fast mode, which I need to be worried about. With its mid-speed Pokemon generally being faster than my mid-speed Pokemon, and its Tailwind being more reliable than my Scarf Tailwind, right? And then, so that is why I have the Trick Room. Psychic, of course, makes sense into this team, kind of, right? Because Psychic type can hit Pheasantipity super effectively, which matters, and then otherwise it's just Stab. And then let's look at the Pokemon who do not take damage from Psychic type at all. That would be Samurott and Honchkrow, and they're both weak to Thunderbolt. Obviously, it leaves it in a weird position to hit Raichu, but, you know, I just accept the fact that if it's Gothorita versus Raichu, it's not, neither of us is going to be hitting each other very hard, and Raichu's going to be hitting for harder and probably wins. And then Hypno will take neutral damage from Thunderbolt at least, so it has something. Blaziken. Blaziken is just a standard Focus Sash set. And the reason it's Focus Sash is just because look at all the super effective moves they have into it. Water move, Water Stab, Flying Stab, Psychic Stab, Ground Stab. There's just too many things I have to be worried about with Blaziken on the field. I thought about it being a Life Orb set or any other set than Focus Sash, but I do just think it wants the Sash here. There are too many super effective hits into it, and there's no reliable Terra that gets out of all of them, so it ends up just being, I'd have to Terra into something that's neutral into all of them, and then if I'm doing that, I'm wasting Terra in the match on Blaziken or using it on Blaziken, when it's still probably going to end up getting 2-hit anyways. Sash just does that, and I don't have another Sash Pokemon. So it is getting the Focus Sash. And then lastly, we have my Golem. Golem is Room Service. It's EV'd and IV'd to underspeed Dipplin under Trick Room, but hopefully under Tailwind it'll still be able to do some damage. Not the most, obviously. It's not the fastest, even when it's not completely min speed. I don't believe it's not minus speed nature or anything. So it's not the lowest speed it can be, but it's not the fastest, so under Tailwind it's not going to be doing too much. Rock Slide and Earthquake are of course it stabs. Rock Slide is pretty good here for Honchkrow and Pyroar, and Earthquake good for the same reasons. Although but mostly the fast Pokemon that we talked about before. And Gyro Ball is good into something like a Pheasantipede or just anything where the Earthquake and Rock Slide won't be doing much. You know, I've got a Heavy Slam, which is nice. The only problem for this Pokemon, only major one, is Torterra, although Diplin also is scary. Torterra and Diplin both, I mean, Torterra more than Diplin, but they both kind of wall it because Earthquake does nothing, Rock Slide does nothing and into Torterra, and then Heavy Slam does nothing into Torterra, that's for sure. So that's the mindset of why I went with this set. It should not be Rockhead, it should be Sturdy. And then let's just quickly go over the Terras. I have Terra Ground on Squawkabilly for electric moves, because I'm not that scared about anything else that'll OHKO it or something. Persian Alola's Terra Flying, because the only thing... I'm basically saying I don't believe in Alolan Raichu, right? With that, like, Alolan Raichu is the only thing that's gonna hit Terra Flying super hard. Maybe Rock Blast or something from Torterra, if it's the set with the loaded dice, but I'm just not that scared. Dugong is Terra Ground with a Rindo Berry, so it Terra Ground for Alolan Raichu, and then Rindo Berry for the 2 potential grass types. You know, makes sense to me. Gothorita for the Ghosts and Dark types has a Dark Terra, standard. Blaziken Terra Ghost for Fake Outs, for Vacuum Waves, for Extreme Speeds, for any priority move that is normal or fighting, which my opponent has enough of that I'm scared. And then Golem is Terra Flying, just so at least it'll, if it gets walled by Torterra, it can kind of wall Torterra back, is the mindset. So that's the team. I believe in an okay amount. I actually think this matchup is rough. Having the faster Fake Out is nice, but I don't have a great way of dealing with Pheasantipede at all, and having 2 Dark types and a Ghost type is pretty tough for me, especially when one of the Dark types isn't weak to Blaziken, because my main idea of beating Dark types is Blaziken, and then one of them isn't weak to the fighting moves that Blaziken has, and then the other one can also hit Blaziken hard with his water move. So I just think this matchup's kind of tough. Like, both of my attackers don't have good matchups here, so I have to be a little bit more creative. That's why I'm trying to get some spice out of Dugong. Anyways, that's the matchup, and I will see you in the game. Okay, this is the match. So the things I was scared of, pretty much all here. So, what do I want to do? This is about what I expected. I think I'm okay leading the Squawkabilly. Dugong's good here. I think I want Persian, Dugong, and then the question is, do I want Gothorita? I think I want Blaziken in the back. The main mindset being at least it can contest in the fast mode. Yeah, I'm gonna go Blaziken here. Now I don't have great speed control, so what I may end up doing is, if they lead Pheasantipede, I might try to match Tailwind, is the idea. But you never know. Okay. So there's the white herb, which confirms to me Shell Smash. Joy Scarf. So let's put out Torterra here. So I can just Brave Bird Fake Out and live with it, I think. I got rid of... Okay. Flinch. Perfect. I'm gonna switch this into... so now the question is like... Yeah, I'll switch into Blaziken and I'll just knock off. Persian's gonna be faster. So yeah, I'm in for this. It's not like it'll Earthquake. I mean, it might try to, it might still try to Shell Smash, although that's dangerous when I have Brave Bird going into it. I think he'll more likely switch. And when they do, my Blaziken will be in a better position, likely, because Raichu will be out of the picture as well. I'm putting on a ton of offensive threat. Yep, it switches. Perfect. Knockoff. KOs it. It was a Focus Sash Raichu. Perfect. So I can detect. I could Parting Shot. Because what I expect is probably a Protect and a Tailwind. If I really expect that, if I'm calling it, I Sword Stance and I Parting Shot. I mean, I could live with the fact that it might not. If I'm here, I detect Tailwind, because I think that puts me in a pretty good position if they have it. But do I need it? So, like, Blaziken versus this set. Close Combat's still probably just Okos, so I can probably just Close Combat, and then... Even if it's... 252... Yeah, it's... Yeah, okay, so... Parting Shot into Pheasantipity. So this way I preserve the Protect for next turn, if I want to match Tailwind. Okay, I'll put in the Squawkabilly, I think. It's fine with me. Fine with me. Oh, double Toxic kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I think Pheasantipity scares me more because I have Dugong. So I kind of just want to Flare Blitz. I don't know, Parting Shot's still like... Tailwind's really good here, right? Yeah, I just matched Tailwind. I'm guarantee speed control. Flare Blitz is good. Did either Terra? No. So I can just Close Combat into Torterra. Try to get some good damage off, and then Tailwind. Yeah, because I expected it to do that. So now it's still faster. I can just Close Combat, switch in the Persian. Because Blaziken's still definitely faster. Sure. Yep. Dazzling Gleam is fine. Fake out Pheasantipede and close combat Torterra. Fails. Close combat. Gets rid of the Torterra. Pheasantipede. Now I just Brave Bird and Knockoff. So I can learn its item. Covert Cloak. Dugong. Ice Beam. Helping Hand. Sure, Acid Spray. Ice Beam. Yeah. I've got it now. So then, let's look at game 2. You know what? Let me make this game bigger, if I can. Here. That should be big enough, but here. Perfect. So I have a lot of item information, a sash, covert cloak, white herb. So I still like the squawk ability, and you know, honestly, I like the same lead. Because, yeah, I mean, it all did work. So now it's just time to see how this goes. Game 2. Knowing the covert cloak on Pheasantipede also gives me a ton of information. Also, I can see, okay, how much damage should I do to Pheasantipede? Ice Beam. Helping Hand Ice Beam from Dugong did, well, do I have a physical attack on it? 9%. Persian versus Pheasantipede. It did, Knockoff should do more, so it is more physically defensive than expected. So it's probably just max HP, right? So I know that's the cloak, so I can just final gambit to Lucario really freely. Because, yeah, I can final gambit Lucario really freely if I want to. Is that good? Getting rid of Lucario, what does that free up? Nothing really. It frees up my Dugong. And then getting rid of the cloak is kind of nice. Matching tail. Oh, is this just a beat up lead? I think it is just final gambit Lucario. And then parting shot Pheasantipede. I mean, what do they do if it's protect Tailwind, right? Do I know that it has Tailwind? It probably, I mean, it didn't click it last game. It had it had opportunities to. Final Gambit, Parting Shot. Because I don't really care about knocking it off, I don't think. Dugong. E-Gleam, that's fine. Persian. Perfect. Fake out into there. And then I can just Muddy Water. Yep, I'll just fake out Muddy Water. So if it's Focus Sash, how much is it doing? Knockoff doesn't always KO, so getting the fake out damage is really valuable first. So yeah, I do want to fake out. Now the one thing that's getting me a little bit is Torterra, but I do have, of course, Dugong for it, and Blaziken for it. And also Torterra was got kind of screwed last game, so maybe it won't. Fake out. Miss there kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So have they Terra'd yet? No. Knockoff. But how valuable is it compared to... It's pretty valuable. It just kind of sucks. No, it's not that valuable. Blaziken's more important for sure. So I can just knock off Protect. Sacred Sword into Persian is, of course, the scary thing. Sacred Sword plus Protect. But even that, I'm not that worried about. I don't think. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think it's just knock off Protect. That's fine. Sacred Sword into Dugong. Okay. Parting Shot. Muddy Water or Ice Beam? No, I don't like that. It might just be Helping Hand Muddy Water. Could even be Terra Ground Muddy Water. So the Terra Ground mindset, no, because then then water moves are super effective, and that's pretty scary. Right now, I think I'm fine with just Sacred Swording, right? It's gonna live. So it's just Helping Hand, Muddy Water. Although, Aqua Cutter, that's fine. E-Gleam, that's fine. Oh, that kind of sucks. Citrus helps, though. Wow, Helping Hand Muddy Water did nothing. I feel like that was a read onto Blaziken coming in. I think I should just Helping Hand Muddy Water again. Like, Blaziken's gonna get tons of value whenever it does come in. So I'm okay with this. I know it's not doing a ton, but the other option is knock off into Samurott. Knock off Ice Beam. Like, knock off Muddy Water is still good. Because I don't know its item. So I can live with that. It'll give me item information if I lose. Knock off. Expert Belt. Sacred Sword. It's fine. So was Samurott faster last game than Blaziken? Yes, it was. So it has to be Detect and Terra Ground Muddy Water. It could even just be Detect. Detect is kind of interesting. Detect Protect is kind of interesting. But then Fake Out can come in. Fake Out can come in anyways. Double Protect, I think, is still the best move. Like, I'm obviously protecting Blaziken here, but... Yeah, this is good for me. Now I can close combat into here and Muddy Water. And I'm happy with any outcome, I think, now. Yep. That's fine with me. Dazzling Gleam. Muddy Water. So now, does Dazzling Gleam KO me? Does Samurott get Aqua Jet? It does. So I'm going to Terra Ghost, Close Combat, Muddy Water. Have they Terra'd? No, right? Well, how much is Flare Blitz doing to it? Not enough. Close Combat. It's Terra Ghost, Close Combat, Muddy Water. And I win. So that's week 2 in the books. Thank you for watching. I think I will do a quick look over the replays and give my thoughts on those. And then I will, once I look at them real quick, I'll come back and give you a play-by-play on the replays just to do some reflection on the match. I think it's going to help me long-term get better at this. So, yeah. Give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's look over game 1 really quick. Let me turn sound off. You know, I'll turn the music off. No, that's cursed. I'll turn it all off. So turn 1 went perfectly. Getting the white herb off tells me what set it is. It also tells me, and obviously, so item information gives the full set of the Pokemon, really great. Squawkabilly does its job pretty much right there. This Fake Out went exactly as planned. Yep, this was textbook, right? The switch in here was one of my best plays of the set, probably my best play of the season so far. Just gives me tons of momentum, being able to confidently say, this Torterra, it will not do anything here, it is too scared. So I get to switch, perfect. And then getting the knockoff, that's textbook, right? Parting Shot into Pheasantipity. So I didn't get the read right here, but just getting some damage mitigation off and enabling my Squawkabilly to get more damage mitigation off of the Samurott is perfect. The reason I think I got this wrong is because I assumed that I would be outspeeding the Samurott, which was a bad assumption. This could have gone very wrong. So this was this was potentially the biggest misplay of the set. Luckily, luckily it worked out to where Samurott wanted to prioritize attacking the Persian over the Blaziken, which gives my Blaziken tons of room to breathe here. And I get a free close combat off into that Samurott. Speed boost, now I have control of the game. This feels super textbook. I just hit the Tailwind up to make sure I have speed control for the rest of the game. Because I have Tailwind, that Icy Wind's not doing anything. Because, yeah, my Blaziken's always going first. Then it doesn't matter what happens from here. I never lose this position. Sora can make it closer, but like I just say, okay, unless you get a double protect, I'm killing this Torterra. Yep, fake out, perfect. It also tells me, this tells me that is Covert Cloak. And I just know Blaziken's dying, but unless it gets a double protect, I win this game. Can skip this turn. Yeah, just easy from there. So then let's go to game 2 without sound, please. I feel like I make a couple good decisions here. I think, you know, I have to be careful of the beat up strat because I believe Pheasantipede does get beat up. So just, you know, get rid of it. Lose Squawkabilly, who's definitely valuable. But I have other options to deal with the threats that Squawkabilly is designed to beat, so I'm okay with that. And just getting rid of a threat I don't know, like, I don't know what Lucario is going to do because I haven't seen it in the set so far. I think simplifies things a lot. And I know what one of the other things is, if I hadn't already seen the knockoff of Raichu, I would be quite scared that it would be a Sash. But because I know it's not Sash, I can do that way more freely. I feel very good. Parting Shot, just damage mitigation, no point not doing it. I think it's smart here. Allows me to switch in my Dugong for free. Here's actually, I think, a pretty bad situation for me, which I play through quite well, if I do say so myself. And it's simple, like my plays are simple, but I don't love the situation, right? Raichu facing down a Dugong, that's threatening. Samurott, who I know is Sacred Sword, 2 super effective hits into either Pokemon, and I have exclusively not very effective hits into the Samurott. Muddy Water, Ice Beam, and Knockoff. So I have no good ways of dealing with Samurott out on the field. And in the back I have Blaziken, which is nice, but it's not perfect. So there I just go for the simple, easy play, knock off into the Pheasantipede. This, if they Sacred Sword into the Persian, I think it's getting a lot harder for me, just because this game comes down, and this game's kind of an inches game, really. Aqua Cutter to, I guess, cover for Terra, and just because it has Stab. Yeah, Muddy Water's doing good work here. Muddy Water, Helping Hand. It's a way of, you know, it's basically what I like about this play is I'm basically just fishing for inaccuracies, just trying to hacks my way out of a situation I don't love. And it's spread damage. It's 2 threats that won't be taking much, but if they don't have a good way of dealing with my Dugong quickly, it's going to do a lot eventually, like over a couple turns. Knockoff, this play was just to give me information. If it was more in the set, I believe it's better almost every time to Helping Hand otherwise. If this was a game 3, I'd click Helping Hand there. Sacred Sword, I knew that Persian had a good chance of dying. It's kind of whatever. And from here, because here, the situation I wanted to avoid no matter what was Raichu being out, and this is another reason why I knocked off. The situation I wanted to avoid no matter what was Raichu being on the field when my Blaziken hits the field. Because if it is, then it has the speed advantage into my Blaziken, which I need to be worried about. And with this double protect, I just stop any damage from going into Dugong because I have to protect Blaziken so it doesn't get KO'd by the Samurott, who will be going first. The big scare is I don't believe I know the 4th move on Pheasantipity yet. If it's Tailwind, if this is a Tailwind here, I probably lose. Almost definitely, actually. But here, I just, you know, got a free kill on the Raichu, which means no fake out, which I think basically seals the game from there. It's just the only thing here is honestly, if it was Terra Water Aqua Jet, that might have KO'd. I don't believe it would, but with no bulk on the Blaziken, it could have. So just getting that kill and then getting the Muddy Water to finish it off, that should have been an Ice Beam. It not being an Ice Beam is kind of a big deal because if I miss the Muddy Water, then I lose, I think. Because Blaziken goes down to the Toxic. Dazzling Gleam is going to KO me when it's single target, so that definitely should have been an Ice Beam. So there were things I did wrong, but overall I'm pretty proud of that set. I'm really proud of the prep. I think it went perfectly. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you for week 3.